In the heart of a bustling city, where the streets pulsed with life and laughter, Zack King, the renowned magician and trickster, was on a quest for inspiration. With his signature black hair tousled by the wind, he wandered through a vibrant marketplace, his mind racing with ideas for his next viral video. Little did he know, fate had a different kind of magic in store for him. As he strolled past colorful stalls, Zack felt an inexplicable pull toward a shadowy alleyway. Curiosity piqued, he ventured in, only to find himself in a dimly lit space that felt eerily out of place. The air was thick with tension, and an unsettling chill crept down his spine. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the alley, and from the darkness emerged SCP-096, the infamous Shy Guy. The creature towered over Zack, its tall, emaciated frame cloaked in a tattered, pale skin that seemed to shimmer under the flickering streetlights. Its face was obscured, but Zack could feel the weight of its gaze, a gaze that could drive anyone to madness. Panic surged through him, but Zack was no ordinary man, he was a master of illusion and misdirection. With a flick of his wrist, Zack summoned a shimmering portal, a swirling vortex of colors that momentarily distracted the Shy Guy. He darted through, emerging on the other side of the alley, heart racing but mind sharp. He had faced many challenges in his career, but this was unlike anything he had ever encountered. Zack knew he had to think fast. He rummaged through his arsenal of magical tricks, each one more fantastical than the last. He conjured a series of mirrors, each reflecting the chaotic energy of the alley. With a deep breath, he positioned them strategically, creating a maze of reflections that would confuse and disorient the creature. As SCP-096 lumbered closer, Zack could feel the ground tremble beneath its weight. He had to act quickly. With a dramatic flourish, he gestured toward the mirrors, and the Shy Guy, drawn by the reflections, stumbled into the trap. It caught sight of its own image, and for a moment, time seemed to freeze. The creature's reaction was instantaneous. It let out a bone-chilling scream, a sound that echoed through the alley and sent shivers down Zack's spine. The Shy Guy, overwhelmed by the sight of itself, thrashed wildly, its long limbs flailing in a frenzy. Zack watched in awe as the creature became increasingly disoriented, its mind unraveling at the sight of its own reflection. In a final, desperate act, SCP-96's head exploded in a shower of pale mist, leaving nothing but silence in its wake. Zack stood there, breathless, the adrenaline coursing through his veins. He had faced the unimaginable and emerged victorious, his magical abilities pushed to their limits. As the echoes of the encounter faded, Zack couldn't help but smile. He had not only survived but had also found a new story to tell, a tale of magic, courage, and the unexpected twists of fate. With a renewed sense of purpose, he stepped back into the vibrant world outside the alley, ready to share his adventure with the world, one magical trick at a time. In the heart of a bustling city, where the neon lights flickered like stars in a concrete sky, Zack King, the renowned magician and trickster, was on a quest for inspiration. With his signature black hair tousled by the wind, he wandered through the alleys, seeking something extraordinary to ignite his creativity. Little did he know, the night held a chilling surprise. As he turned a corner, Zack stumbled upon an abandoned warehouse, its rusted doors creaking ominously. Curiosity piqued, he stepped inside, the air thick with dust and secrets. The shadows danced around him, and just as he was about to leave, a low, haunting sound echoed through the space. It was a sound that sent shivers down his spine, a soft, mournful whimper. Suddenly, from the darkness emerged SCP-096, the infamous Shy Guy. Towering and emaciated, its pale skin glistened under the flickering fluorescent lights. Zack's heart raced as he recalled the tales of this creature, known for its terrifying ability to hunt down anyone who dared to look at its face. Panic surged through him, but Zack was no ordinary man, he was a master of illusion and trickery. With a deep breath, he summoned his magical arsenal. In a flash, he conjured a series of mirrors, each reflecting the dim light of the warehouse. The Shy Guy, oblivious to Zack's presence, continued its mournful wail, its long limbs twitching in agitation. Zack knew he had to act quickly. All right, Zack, time to show this guy what you've got, he muttered to himself, determination igniting within him. He positioned the mirrors strategically, creating a maze of reflections that would confuse the creature. As he moved, he whispered incantations, his hands weaving through the air like a conductor leading an orchestra. The Shy Guy, sensing something amiss, turned its head, its eyes wide with a mix of confusion and rage. Zack seized the moment, directing the mirrors to reflect the creature's own image back at it. The Shy Guy caught sight of its reflection, and for a brief moment, time stood still. What happened next was nothing short of chaotic. The creature, unaccustomed to seeing itself, let out a blood-curdling scream that echoed through the warehouse. Its long, bony fingers clawed at its face, disoriented by the sight of its own ghastly visage. Zack watched in awe as the Shy Guy stumbled backward, its screams growing louder, reverberating off the walls. Just a little more, Zack encouraged himself, his heart pounding in rhythm with the creature's frantic movements. He focused all his energy, amplifying the mirrors, reflections until they surrounded the Shy Guy like a prism of horror. The creature's screams reached a fever pitch, and in a final, explosive moment of despair, its head burst apart in a shower of pale flesh and bone. Zack stood frozen, the echoes of the Shy Guy's demise fading into silence. He had faced the unimaginable and emerged victorious, his magical tricks having saved him from a fate worse than death. With a triumphant grin, he gathered his mirrors, the remnants of the encounter still swirling in his mind. Now that was a show, he chuckled, the adrenaline coursing through him. As he stepped out of the warehouse, the city lights welcomed him back, twinkling like stars in the night sky. Zack King had not only survived an encounter with one of the most feared entities in existence but had also discovered a new wellspring of inspiration for his next magical performance. With a heart full of excitement and a mind buzzing with ideas, he set off into the night, ready to weave tales of wonder and illusion, forever changed by the encounter with the Shy Guy. In the heart of a bustling city, where the neon lights flickered like stars fallen to earth, Zack King, the renowned magician and trickster, was on a quest for inspiration. With his signature black hair tousled by the wind, he wandered through the alleys, seeking something extraordinary to elevate his craft. Little did he know, the extraordinary was about to find him. As he turned a corner, Zack stumbled upon an old, decrepit building, its walls covered in strange symbols and graffiti. Curiosity piqued, he stepped inside, the air thick with an unsettling silence. The moment he crossed the threshold, a chill ran down his spine. He felt it before he saw it, a presence lurking in the shadows. Suddenly, from the darkness emerged SCP-096, the infamous Shy Guy. Tall and emaciated, its pale skin glistened under the dim light, and its eyes were hidden behind a veil of long, matted hair. Zack's heart raced as he recalled the tales of this creature, one that would pursue anyone who dared to look upon its face. Zack knew he had to act fast. He had spent years honing his magical abilities, and now was the time to unleash them. With a flick of his wrist, he conjured a cloud of shimmering smoke, obscuring his figure from the shy guy's line of sight. The creature paused, its head tilting as it sensed the disturbance. All right, Zack, he muttered to himself, time to get creative. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, ornate mirror, a prop he had used in countless performances. With a flourish, he summoned a burst of light, reflecting it off the mirror's surface. The light danced around the room, catching SCP-96's attention. The shy guy, drawn to the glimmer, took a hesitant step forward. Zack seized the moment. Look at yourself, he shouted, directing the creature's gaze toward the mirror. The reflection revealed the ghastly figure of SCP-096, and for the first time, it saw its own visage. The creature froze, its body trembling as it processed the sight before it. A low, guttural sound escaped its throat, escalating into a blood-curdling scream. Zack watched in awe as SCP-096 became disoriented, its long limbs flailing in confusion. The scream echoed through the building, reverberating off the walls like a haunting melody. In a final, desperate attempt to escape its own reflection, SCP-96's head exploded in a shower of pale flesh and bone, leaving nothing but a cloud of mist where the creature once stood. Zack stood there, breathless, the mirror still glowing in his hand. I can't believe that worked, he exclaimed, a mix of relief and exhilaration flooding through him. The danger had passed, and he had survived an encounter with one of the most feared entities in existence. As he stepped out of the building, the city lights welcomed him back, twinkling like 1,000 tiny stars. Zack King had faced the unimaginable and emerged victorious, his magical tricks proving to be more than just illusions, they were a lifeline in a world filled with the bizarre and the unknown. With a newfound sense of purpose, he set off into the night, ready to share his incredible story and inspire others with the magic that lay within the unexpected.